if you have not viewed the getting started video, you may want to view that now. But here, let's just get started with the tools that Google has available for us. And the first one is ads.google.com. You notice here in the URL, you can start or create your own account. Now I happen to have an account, so I'm gonna select sign in, and then it's gonna go ahead and just sign me into Google Ads. But here, notice when I sign in here, I have some information about me. But here, I'm just gonna click on this tools and setting and go to Keyword Planner, which is this tab right here. So this is where we get the keywords that we're going to search on, and I've set up just a search keyword here of cybersecurity. So there's a couple features I want to show you here real quick that I use that make it easy for me. And remember, when we find these terms, we're going to transfer them to our handy dandy notebook or our spreadsheet here and collect this information. So let's hold off on that though. And here's some keyword ideas. So if I wanted to look up CCPA, for example, which is the new California Privacy Act, I can do CCPA and just type it in, and it's going to give me some suggested words here. So the first thing I do is I look and I try to find what those key phrases are going to be. And I make that evaluation on two different areas. One is inside of the Keyword Planner here where I do the search for CCPA. Notice here, and then I go down to the keywords and I search for that information again. So here I'm just going to click on the add button. I can go to forecast here and I can just type in CCPA and hit save, and it'll come up and show me everything to do with CCPA. The CTR is 1.7, right, and 2.15 for the cost per click. So that's not too good of click-through right here, CTR as 1.7. I'd arrive at the 2.6 position on the website unless I wanted to pay some money, which for this one happens to be $3.54 to $13.06. And remember these high-low ranges and top-of-page bids. This is very fluid stuff, right? This is a search engine that's constantly moving. So these are just averages kind of to plan on. So that's the first thing I do. So first thing I do is I find my keywords. So I'll take these keywords and I'll say, okay, CCPA privacy. Let's go ahead and look. I just highlight it, do a copy. I go over here. Whoops. I go over here to my keywords and I just go ahead and add that in and see how well that does. Right, so I can add it in. You see here now I'm looking at it, 1.3 click-through rate, low cost per click, but there aren't many people doing it. So that's probably not the best of terms, so I'm going to remove that one. So, and I'm not using cybersecurity, so I'm going to remove that one for this example. Then I can go back to keyword ideas, right? And I can see, oh, okay, what's important? Maybe CCPA. So 2020, so let's do that. We're going to go back to the keywords here. We're going to add this, and we're going to search for that keyword. We're going to save it in there and see how it does. 1.7 click-through rate, not very good. Lots of impressions, though. So that doesn't really necessarily mean that what you're searching for, that key phrase, is a good key phrase. Just because it has high impressions, it just means that text, CCPA, is on a lot of stuff. But the one we just searched for was CCPA 2020. Notice here it's not very good, right? It's not appearing anywhere really in this study, and the average cost is $3. And so we just have to kind of play with it. So that's the first thing I do. Look for the keywords, figure out what those keywords are, and come up with them. And I usually make a little list right here. Then I take these keywords and I dump them into my spreadsheet. So I type them out here into the search term. I'll go down where I started, right? And I'll just type in CCPA, and I'll type in CCPA 2020. This is assuming that I like these two terms. Now, I don't fill in the rest of the information yet because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these terms. So for that, I go over to my Google Trends. And in my Google Trends, I look for that info. So we're looking for a CCPA, excuse me. So we're going to look here in Google Trends. We're going to say CCPA, and we can get through with this. This is a comparison, by the way. You can see all the different lines on there. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all that. And I've gone ahead and typed in CCPA as a search term. Notice here that this is a good thing, right? We're starting to see an increase in interest in this term, right? So here we're ending up here through October 5th, which is tomorrow. We're having some good traffic here. So this would be a good term to use and be able to add to our website. This is going to drive people to us. Here it's pretty busy in District of Columbia, and you can see all of the hits there as it goes through, but it looks like DC is the primary area. Now we come down to another section here, related queries, CCPA compliance, text, etc. I then take these terms here and do a search for them back on this tool. So I'll put them down here, right? Because this is my transfer area. So I'll just put them down there. So CCPA compliance. So I'll type that down. And then I'll look in here and see on my other tool to see if it's worth looking at. So I'll go in here and I'll just type in CCPA compliance and see what happens, right? And so this is just a way that you can organize and see CCPA compliance 2.1, decent. We're going to use it, right? So when we come up here, we'll see it right here under CCPA right here, which I didn't end up using. So I ended up using these stats instead. So you just kind of have to work your way through. That's kind of the process. So I know I've been talking about it for 6 minutes. So if you didn't catch it the first time, go back and review again. But so this data right here, all these costs and things, are going to go directly into the spreadsheet. So you have a place here for the spreadsheet to kind of collect that information as you go through and make your evaluation. You're finding these key phrases by either going to the keyword search and looking and then finding related key phrases that you may want to use. You're also going through and using Camtasia. That's what you're viewing there. Just joking on that. You're using Google Trends here to see how interesting that information is, right, to the common public. And then you're transferring some of that information, like the location, for example. You're transferring that into the spreadsheet. So it's all in one place, easy to manage. As you go through this process, you begin to develop kind of this spreadsheet that then becomes your dashboard. And we're going to talk about the dashboard in the next video. But this is how you kind of evaluate what state, whether there's interest in the term that you're using, or maybe you need to adjust that term, and then you use this spreadsheet to kind of manage what you're doing so that it's easy for you to know what you've checked, what you haven't checked, and so on.